From a kid who argues with the teacher over if the sun is real or not, yeah, the sun, to a kid who thinks sitting in chairs is offensive, these are the craziest Gen Z kids you've ever seen. Let's go. So we're going to call... Sorry. We're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Jesse. Anyways, so in Jesse's class, there was a kid, and we're just going to call him the Gen Z kid, right? So the Gen Z kid is sitting in class, and today they were learning about space or something. I don't totally know why this happened. So this was in 5th grade. I think they were just doing like a small unit on space or something. And the teacher was saying something about like yada yada, this planet, whatever. And then she said something about the sun. And this kid spent a lot of time on TikTok. And the thing is, right, TikTok, super addictive. You know, the algorithms are made to keep you on there, but also there's a lot of misinformation that spreads on there because you see someone who says something and it blows up and it reaches a bunch of people and there's no real fact checking or sources cited, and you kind of just take them at face value, or maybe not you, but a lot of people do. So this kid, the Gen Z kid, must have seen a TikTok on his For You page being like, guys, the sun isn't real because I have never been to the sun before, therefore it doesn't exist, which some kind of like backwards, ridiculous logic that makes no sense at all, but it's said with like ominous, spooky background music number 28. So anyone who sees it's just like, oh my God, you're right. So yeah, anyways, this all happened when the teacher mentioned something about the sun. And the TikTok kid literally smirks, gives a little laugh, and says out loud, the sun? Don't tell me you guys still believe in the sun. And kind of looking around, right? So Jesse's looking at this kid who literally laughs and says, don't tell me you guys look at the sun, or look at the sun. Don't tell me you guys still believe in the sun, as he like looks around at all the other classmates. And believe it or not, all the other classmates, instead of being in agreement, laughing along, I bet the TikTok kid imagined in his little scenario that what was going to happen was all the other kids were going to be like, oh yeah, that's so ridiculous. Don't worry, man. We also don't believe in the sun. We saw that niche, obscure disinformation TikTok video as well. That's totally real. But no, everyone looks at the kid and the teacher stops like teaching for a second because the teacher's like, come again now? Like, what? And the not the spoiled kid. I'm so used to telling stories about spoiled kid. The Gen Z kid looks at the teacher. He's like, wait, you guys actually still believe in the sun? And he like looks around all like confused or whatever. And everyone's kind of looking at him like, dude, what are you even saying right now? And the kid's like, guys, do not tell me that you guys are falling for the machine and believing that the sun is real. I saw a video on TikTok yesterday that was all like, the sun isn't real because tell me, have you ever been to the sun? No. So, and I was thinking about it. I was like, dude, my mind just opened up. It's true. I've never actually been to the sun before. So it probably isn't even a thing. So you guys are really believing into the system. And Jesse's like, dude, like you can see it in the sky. And like, if you look at it for too long, your eyes hurt. And like, if you're in the sun for too long, your skin burns. Like it definitely is there, man. And then this, like the Gen Z kid looks at Jesse and he's like, dude, don't tell me you're falling for the disinformation. It's probably like a government thing. And Jesse's looking at this kid like, what, your best response to me saying you can see it and like it hurts your eyes and your skin, the best response to that, which is totally logical, is it's probably a government ... thing, ? What? Like, dude, I thought you said the government, like the sun wasn't even real. And so the teacher kind of steps in and is like, hey, like Gen Z kid, the sun is real. It's like, you can even see it. I don't know where you saw this video on TikTok or whatever that kids are on, right? But that's not true. The sun is real. Trust me. And, you know, the Gen Z kid's like, dude, why should I trust you? Like, you're definitely in bed with the government and, because of this teaching gig where you're making all this money to spread disinformation. And the teacher's just looking at this kid like, bro, you think I became a teacher for the money? And the teacher starts laughing because if you guys don't know, teachers do a really important job, but they are definitely not compensated that well. You do not go into teaching because you're trying to make some fat stacks. Not a single person would do that unless they had no idea, unless they knew literally nothing about teaching, and especially teaching compensation, would they ever go into teaching to make money, right? So the teacher's like, look, I survive, but I definitely am not making money, and I'm definitely also not paid by the government to spread disinformation. And the Gen Z kid's like, all right, guys, that's enough of this nonsense. And he stands up and he's like, okay, I'm calling it right now. We have a mass exodus from this class. Anyone who believes the sun is fake, get up right now and walk out of this class so that the truth can be heard. And the kid gets up, and the Gen Z kid legitimately looks around the classroom expecting like every single kid to rise up and be like, yeah, man, you're right. The sun is not real at all, dude. I believe in you. You're saying what's right. But what actually ended up happening was every single kid, including Jesse, just stayed in their seat. It was almost as if they were sitting harder than usual, whatever that means. They were just emphasizing that they were sitting. It was like sitting with an exclamation point, not a period. I don't know how to explain it. But they were all just looking at this kid like, dude, you're freaking embarrassing yourself right now, man. Like, what are you saying, dude? And the kid's like, so you're all part of the system and believe in the sun. You know what? I'm going to take my truth with me. And if you realize the truth someday, well, it's too late for you. Goodbye. And the kid legitimately gets up and walks out of the classroom. So basically, the teacher had to go find him outside of class and have a little discussion about him, about, he can believe what he wants and he can think what he wants, right? But he can't disrupt the classroom. And, the teacher, he showed the teacher the video. And apparently the teacher was almost immediately able to point out the logical fallacies. And eventually the kid's like, okay, I guess I concede that maybe the sun is real. And I guess I concede that perhaps you're not paid hundreds of millions of dollars by secret government agents to spread disinformation. Because the teacher showed him his car and it's like, this is not what I'd buy if I had $100 billion. And yeah, so eventually the kid came back to class the next day. He was kind of known as the sun is fake kid for a while, but eventually kind of blew over. And if you thought that Gen Z kid was crazy, you're not even ready for the next one. Because we're going to call the subscriber who submitted that one James. So anyways, right, there's a kid in James's class who is the very typical Gen Z Twitter type person where, I don't know, it's almost like a professional sport to try and become offended by everything. And let me just set the record clear, there are things that people should be genuinely offended by. It is totally understandable if someone does something or says something that is completely out of pocket. There are instances, right? And also, maybe someone does something they don't even mean to be, disrespectful, right? It's better to let them know in a respectful tone that they're being disrespectful by doing X so that they don't disrespect someone else. It's good to do that, right? However, there are also people, especially Gen Z people, that almost take this as a lifelong crusade to find a problem with everything and to minimize or to maximize every small speck into, well, what if this and then that and then this and then that and then this and that, and I think that's offensive now. So this kid kind of took that to the extreme, and we're going to call this kid the Gen Z kid. So anyways, James was in class with this kid, and this kid was kind of just known for being a little weird, for just being a little strange, right? So one day he comes into class and he tells the teacher that he today is protesting the class. And the teacher looks at him and is like, dude, oh my God, what? So the teacher's like, okay, can you at least tell me why you're protesting the class today? Can you let me know why you're protesting the class? Can you enlighten me a little bit? And the kid was like, yeah, so you know what? I prefer to sit on the ground. I was thinking about this, and I like lying on the ground when I'm at home. It is easier for me to do my homework. It's better for my digestion. I prefer to sit on the ground. And there are no options for me to do so in this classroom. All the tables have chairs on them for the people who enjoy sitting, but my preferences of laying on the ground are not being accommodated, which I find extremely offensive. So I am protesting this class until this gets fixed. And dude, James was in class and he was just like, dude, what? So everyone was sitting there just like, bro, Twitter as a person's going crazy again. What's going on now? And they're listening in, and James turns to his friend. He's like, there's got to be a bit, right? Like, this got to be a big practical joke. And they check the calendar, and it wasn't April 1st. They're like, oh my God. It's like August 28th or like October 24th. It's not April 1st. What's going on? Yeah, so sure enough, the teacher is kind of really like weirded out by this, but they're also like, okay. The teacher realizes that they can't just like snap on this kid and kind of like be realistic with them. Like, they cave a little bit, but they're just trying to de-escalate the situation. So the teacher's like, okay, I really don't think you should protest the class. I can definitely see if there's like a rug or something in the, I don't know, the closet, if you really wanted to lay on it. Like, you could do that if you really wanted to. Like, you could also just lay on the ground. And the Gen Z kid is like, what? Lay on the ground? And which is just like, I don't know why they were so like, wow, that's insane. Because didn't they just say that they like laying on the ground at home? But sure enough, they're like, I want something built for me to lay on. Which is like, bro, the whole point of laying on the ground is you're laying on the ground. You're not laying on your bed. Basically, what this kid ended up like, because at this point, James is starting to realize that all this kid was saying was that they don't prefer to lay on the ground. They prefer to lay on a bed. And the fact that the school didn't have like 28 beds in a classroom for all the kids to lay on is, oh no, that's bad, man. Because, oh yeah, if kids are not allowed to lay in their beds in class, oh no, good heavens, dude. They have to sit in a seat? You have to sit in a chair like everyone else? Oh no. Yeah, so the teacher starts to catch on too. And it's like, no. Like, you can lay on the ground if you want, but I can't do anything beyond that. And the Gen Z kid is like, starts laughing. And everyone in the class is like, did a screw literally just fall out of their head? Like, what's going on right now? Why is this kid laughing? So the kid's laughing. And the kid's like, oh, Mr. Teacher, you just made a huge mistake. You don't know what you just did. I'm going to go to the front office, and I'm going to say that you were discriminating against my preferences, and you're going to get fired. And then the kid laughs again, and this turns to his friend, like, for a second, James is like, wait, can they actually do that? But yeah, so sure enough, the Gen Z kid storms out of class. The teacher didn't look that concerned because I think the teacher realized that he probably couldn't be, probably couldn't be fired because a kid was mad that they didn't have a bed in class for them to lay on. Most likely, that was not going to result in him getting booted from his, like, 10-year-long position at, like, this, I don't know, look, unlikely. So, anyways, the Gen Z kid marches up to the front office, and so, I mean, James doesn't know exactly what happened, but he heard bits and pieces and can assume what happened because, you know, he wasn't, like, there in the office with them. But, anyways, sure enough, a Gen Z girl, or whatever, right, Gen Z kid goes up to the front office, demands to speak with the principal, has to wait like 20 minutes because, like, law and order, right, the principal has other things that they need to do, tells it to the principal about the horrors of not having a bed personally set aside for them and how that's what they want to do. And when the teacher didn't, cave to the fact that they wanted a bed in class, that they must be fired because that is her preference. She wants to sleep in a bed. And the principal, like, I think the principal knew that, like, the principal had a bit more power in the situation than a teacher does. So the principal kind of gave it to her straight and was like, dude, no. The real world, right, is not going to cave to every single preference you have. It's not going to do everything you want to. If every kid has to sit in a seat, then every kid has to sit in a seat. Just, like, think logistically for a second what it would be like if we got 20 beds in a classroom. First of all, a lot of kids, like, what if they wanted to have seats? And then you'd have to have seats and beds. Also, beds are not conducive to good studying. And just a lot of stuff like that. And yeah, the Gen Z girl had to come into class the next day, completely defeated, and it was a little embarrassing for her. If you thought that those Gen Z kids were bad, this final one is like the pinnacle of Gen Z. So anyways, we're going to call a subscriber who submitted this story Ash. You guys catch the pattern so far? Jesse, James, Ash, OG Pokemon people, you know what that is. I haven't watched Pokemon forever, but I used to as a kid. Anyways, so there's a kid in his class who we're going to call the Gen Z kid. So this kid, he had a TikTok account, and he posted a video of his dog doing something, and it got like 50,000 views. And that sounds really good, and 50,000 views is really cool. I mean, I'd be happy if I got 50,000 on TikTok. That sounds pretty good. But at the end of the day, stuff on TikTok will just randomly go viral. And it's not as if he gained like 10,000 followers who follow him because of his dog, and he can make a branded account out of his dog, right? Like build a brand around that, because like Doug the Pug and some other, there are like legitimate brands built around dogs. But no, he just had a random video get 50K, and this kid, the Gen Z kid, believed that he now was going to become a TikTok celebrity and drop out to pursue his quote-unquote passion of TikTok. Like, bro, what? Real quick, comment Gen Z if you made it this far into the video. And also, check us out on Spotify. It will be in the pinned comment down below. You can listen to these as podcasts on there, and it helps me out if you do. Anyways, so sure enough, this kid started going around telling everyone that it was so great to get to know them. And remember, they're in 6th grade or whatever, that it was so great to get to know them, that when he was rich, famous, successful, and had a 6-pack, 12-pack body abs movie star type lifestyle, right? Living with his laptop on a jet, on a plane, on a boat, on a mansion, that, you know what, he would remember them. And if they were lucky enough that they could stay at his mega yacht mansion boat jet, super cool Cobra sword, I don't even know at this point. Anyways, he was going around telling people that he came to the conclusion that he was going to drop out to pursue TikTok, which, look, I'm actually not 100% against people really like honing in on their skills. If they get a shot of virality on a social media platform, I don't suggest dropping out unless you have a very scalable, sustainable 6-7 figure income from that stuff, because it can go away insanely fast. But I do actually suggest, if you get a short burst of attention on a social media platform, I am all for you digging in and trying to build something out of that maybe can turn into something bigger. But that's a more serious discussion for a different platform at a different time. I do not suggest you drop out of school because one of your TikTok videos goes viral by accident and you gain no traction from it. So people were immediately telling the kid, like, oh, wait, why are you dropping out? Like, do you have an account we don't know about? And he's like, no, look at this. And he like pulls out his phone and he shows them the video. And the video has like 52,000 views, which is cool. But dude, first of all, that's only 52,000 views. Which, look, I remember the days when I'd be happy with 30 views, but we're talking about dropping out of school. 52,000 views is nothing. And second of all, it's on TikTok with short-form content, which is way easier to get views on. I don't know how, I haven't been able to, and I've tried a bit, but just generally, much easier to. So, yeah, eventually he comes up to Ash, gives the whole spiel of like, oh man, I'm gonna be so rich, and I'm dropping out because I'm gonna be a TikToker. And Ash kind of like tells him straight up, like, dude, I don't think you should do that. Like, I get it. Like, you had a video do well, which like you totally could have the time to, and also they're in 6th grade. It's not like I think you still like legally need to be in school at that point. It's like, dude, like, first of all, I don't even know if you can drop out of school. Second of all, why can't you just do both? Like, I really like think you could put in the time for both, doing both. And also, look, this video going viral is cool and all, like, congratulations, man. But this isn't enough to really stand on alone. Like, this really isn't as impressive as maybe you may think it is. And, you know, the TikTok kid immediately when he hears this is like, dude, you're just jealous of my success on this platform. Like, you're just jealous that you're not going to be able to drop out of school and live the laptop luxury safari mega jet victory yacht mansion lifestyle that I'm going to. And Ash is like, all right, bro, like, cool, live your life. And so, yeah. Actually, this kid stopped showing up to class entirely because Ash had 1 or 2 classes with them. And Ash was really surprised because he was sure that this kid had been known for like telling lies a lot, telling tall tales and all this type of stuff, right? But he never actually expected this kid was going to follow through with, oh, I'm going to drop out to pursue TikTok. First of all, because you can't even drop out in 6th grade. You'd have to become like homeschooled, and that's not even really dropping out. That's just being homeschooled, right? So, sure enough, this kid had told nobody, but he stopped attending classes to pursue TikTok. And in all fairness, this kid was posting a lot of videos on TikTok, right? But one thing that you'll learn if you ever try to make like content or whatever is you kind of need to stick to the same niche, or maybe not the same. You need to have like a continuous theme in your content, because people will follow you to get something, right? They want to be entertained or informed or something. If I started making random vlogs and then cooking videos and the math tutorials alongside my stories, they wouldn't perform well, because people came to me for my stories, for the commentary, whatever you guys came to me for, right? So this kid was posting like 12 times a day, and he was posting like random vlogs. He's like, hey guys, dropping out of school vlog, episode 1, and then he'd be like, hey guys, so this is me playing video games, and they'd be like, hey guys, they all, like, all the views was like 20 views, 40 views, which is whatever, and it's fine. And if you're just doing TikTok for fun, who cares how many views you get? I don't care if you get 0 views, man, like you did something for fun. But this kid was doing it because he dropped out. Yeah, so he didn't actually drop out. All he did was he stopped attending classes. So after a couple days of not attending classes, this kid's parents got a message from the school being like, kid's about to be on probation. He's like dropping out of all, he's not attending classes. Has he been home? Like, you guys got to let us know if he's sick or he's not coming in. And the parents obviously freaked out, and they confronted the kid, and the kid's like, I was pursuing my business endeavors, which posting to like 12 people on TikTok is not a business endeavor. If you have like millions of people and you're able to convert that to a product, or maybe convert other people to someone else's product and make a commission off of that, then fair enough. That is a business, right? However, this is not a business. And his parents were like, dude, you can't just not show up to class too. Like, what? So yeah, after this kid, the Gen Z kid, was talking all this smack about how he's going to live his laptop luxury lifestyle to everyone, within 2 days, he's back in classes. And I think Ash tells me that at least most people were cool about it. Like, they weren't going to taunt this kid because whatever, like, it's just not worth the energy. But apparently one kid actually did go up to him and be like, yo, dude, did you drive in today in your Lamborghini, Bugatti? Like, what color is your Bugatti, bro? Like, I'm actually really excited to see it. I mean, I know you're still here, but did you, like, chart in on your super yacht or something?